Welcome back to Screen and Ink. This is our breakdown of the finale of House of the Dragon Season 3. Hunter, first thoughts of the finale of House of the Dragon Season 3.
Amazing. Basically, Battle of the Bells Part 2,
Yeah,
honestly. Like, they did everything right that the last two episodes of Season 8 did wrong.
yeah,
Like,
100%.
it looked almost the exact same, honestly.
There's a bunch of things that reminded me of it, especially, at near the middle point of the battle, I guess the catalyst of the battle,
Mm-hmm.
whenever Ulf flips, he flips sides immediately, right, and starts burning the
Yes.
Rivermen and
Yes.
the Northmen. But then we see he switches up again and starts burning the actual city of Tumbleton.
Yeah.
Burning Greens, the children, the town itself.
Yeah. And when Daemon, after he fights Bold John,
And he wakes up.
and he kind of like has this, like, just he's looking around, he sees all this death and destruction, and the real power of what you can do wrong with a dragon.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what John has when he's in his, like, at the end of the Bells episode, and he's looking around seeing what Danny can do and everything. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
There's this part of the Bells at the end of season 8 when John is going through and he's watching the dragon, Danny's dragon, go through and burn everything, and he's fighting his way through the streets at the same time. That's when Daemon woke up and he was walking through and fighting the High Towers. Big time Battle of the Bells.
Yeah, big time parallel. Parallels between not just season 8, but Rhaenyra and Cersei with the Sept.
Yeah,
she didn't blow up the Sept.
She killed the High
Septon.
Yep.
And then after literally what happens in season 6, episode 10, Tommen, commits suicide and falls out of the window. Helaena does the exact same thing. And
really
we get
point.
the same exact shot
of the
Sept. And then Rhaenyra looks over at the Sept, just like Cersei looked over at the Sept. Like, it's the same kind of parallels.
To put into context how insane killing the High Septon is, it's like if somebody walked into the Vatican and killed the Pope.
Killed the Pope.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, Catholics all over the world would rise up.
Yeah.
And you can kind of expect maybe the same thing to happen with the small folk inside of King's Landing and potentially elsewhere.
And this wasn't even like a huge victory, it felt like. It felt like no one lost. I mean, no one won.
The Battle of Tumbleton?
Yes.
100%. 100%. And even, I completely agree. I don't think there's a clear winner at all in the Battle of Tumbleton. But then we go back to King's Landing where Rhaenyra and Helaena are. We see where Helaena jumps to her death.
Yeah.
And not only do the Greens lose their queen, Alicent loses her daughter, Aegon loses his wife, Aemon loses his sister, Rhaenyra loses the one hostage she had.
Right.
Which was a major bargaining chip at the end of the day.
Right. They didn't really elaborate on that, like them being like a bargaining chip for the High Towers, but it was, though.
Yeah,
it
100%. And that's a huge loss for Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Massive loss for her.
And it shows that, like, if the High Towers really cared about the hostages, like if they really cared about Helaena and really cared about Alicent, that they would have tried to, kind of like how we deal with in the first two seasons of Game of Thrones, when we're trying to trade hostages
for Arya and
Sansa.
Yeah,
they do. Like, it shows that Ormond does not care. Like, and we've established that already, but it really shows that.
And at the end of the day, Sansa and Arya were just, and this sounds so mean, but they were just two highborn girls from the north. Helaena is the queen.
Yeah,
she's
queen.
The mother of the future king.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely insane. Very good point.
Yeah.
But you want to start from the top?
Yeah, let's start from the top with this scene. So Orwell goes and he wakes up Rhaenyra, tells her of Aegon's return.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra immediately goes to Daemon. Daemon's getting prepared to go to Tumbleton. And she's just an absolute mess.
She's an absolute mess. And I liked how in the intro of the show, when we're seeing the tapestry, it shows Aegon burning the Mutin host at Rook's Rest.
Yeah.
And
then like the fire comes over the tapestry, like how he burned the men.
Yeah, and like Kristen Cole, his part of the tapestry was even burning. I thought that was really interesting. I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that.
Right.
But I really liked
Maybe it's the memory of Kristen kind of burning away, because that was the whole point of why, you know, we wanted no songs sung of you, Kingmaker.
Yeah.
Like, that is in the book. It's not in the show. That was what we talked about last episode. But
really good point.
Kind of like his whole memory is fading away. Even when...
And I really like that point I really like what you just said there, because even when Daemon...
I was just about to say
when he talks to Oscar and Roddy.
Yep.
He says, so easy to forget about him. Do tell me how he died.
Yeah.
And he said, badly.
And
I just love that. And they talked about him just in passing, you know, and then there's no more mention of him.
Yep. I loved it.
Really good point. But right, at the beginning we see Rhaenyra getting woken by the maester, and she goes straight to Daemon.
Yeah.
She's screaming and crying, literal tears running down her face.
And she's feeling here... because of what's going on. Everybody's talking, like everybody, not just in the Red Keep, but outside of her walls, outside of the Sept, throughout the realm now, that he has been resurrected. Like Christ himself has been resurrected.
Yes.
Like immediate parallel between him and Christ being resurrected here.
And she starts talking about how the small folk are saying, you know, it's a sign from the gods that he's been chosen. You know, he's been resurrected to lead us.
Yeah.
And she can absolutely not have that. And you pointed out something last night, right after we had just watched it. And you had said that Rhaenyra believes in this prophecy so wholeheartedly. You know, and it's a big drive for her character and for her purpose of claiming the throne.
Yes.
But when she sees Aegon come back, you know, she hears of Aegon coming back, it starts to call into question in her own mind, my goodness, is Aegon actually the prince that was promised? Is it not me?
Sends her into a frenzy, which obviously it would, like anyone 100%. Who is solely invested into this. And she gets this, like what every Targaryen at some point goes through. And it's this whole investment into a prophecy or into a dragon dream. Like, because we see that the ones that do this, the ones that fully invest themselves into a dream that they've had or a prophecy that they've been told, they lose it.
Yeah.
They go too far out. They dive too deep into it.
And that's a common theme with the Targaryens, is that, you know, they get... even the ones that have these dragon dreams, like Helena does, they get so... they think that everything is going to come true, right, from these little dreams that they have, or these visions.
Yeah, and that's
these little prophecies.
It's their prophecy. It's this dream that I had. It's so clear to us, and that's it. That's all that matters.
And it repeatedly, every single time, leads to their destruction.
Every single time.
Yeah. The only time we know of it going right for the Targaryens is literally when Daenerys the Dreamer had the dream of the doom of Valyria, and then they fled old Valyria and went to Dragonstone.
Yeah, but at the same time, their eventual doom.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's very true.
Their eventual doom comes not just in Valyria, but by themselves here as well.
Yep.
So was it part of like this false dream and this false hope that Daenerys was shown, that they should have just died in Valyria? Like, it would have been better for the world if the Targaryens just died.
And I feel like that's something we've said a few times, you know, that nobody really deserves the dragons. And Viserys says it in season 1, is that the dragons are a power that the Targaryens should have never meddled with.
Yeah, yeah. The fact, or what's it called? The quote. It's like, it's an illusion.
Yeah, it's an illusion that we control the dragons.
It's an illusion. Yeah, yes. I love that quote from Viserys, and he's about the only one that understands it. But it's also coming from one who barely had Valyrian and then Balerion died.
Yeah.
So who's to say that Viserys still would have thought this way if he had the biggest dragon in the world?
That's actually a really good point. And I think on the flip side of that, he builds the recreation of the Valyrian freehold.
Yeah. Right.
And I think Daemon, might see that and think, oh, he wants to recreate old Valyria, like how he does, and how Rhaenyra is starting to want to do.
Yeah.
But really, he built it as like a lesson for what we should not do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think similar to Helaena, who doesn't ride her dragon because she doesn't want the dragon to change her.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might have felt similarly.
Yeah, and it makes me think because like Rhaenyra, we see Rhaenyra in front of his Valyrian Lego set.
Yeah.
But I thought Aegon destroyed that thing. Like completely destroyed it. Now is it like just the remaining parts of it? But it looked in that episode of
it looked like the whole thing.
It looked like the whole thing in season 2, episode 2. Like it looked like he just destroyed it. But
good point.
Who knows? But so she continues this talk with Daemon. I love how Daemon was like, "Who cares about these old gods? We are the blood of old Valyria.
Yep.
Like who cares?" And that kind of triggers something in her mind that like we can go kill this High Septon, and it's not going to matter.
Our gods are way bigger than their gods.
But the fact is, no one in the realm worships your gods.
Yeah, exactly. And like, while we don't believe that the Seven is actually real, I think out of all the gods,
it's the old gods, if anything,
or maybe R'hllor,
R'hllor in the Lord of Light.
And I feel like we kind of lean more into like it's just kind of magic. You know what I mean? Like we don't know necessarily if the gods are real, but there's the magic is 100% real.
For sure, yeah.
But regardless of any of that, the small folk believe in the Seven.
Yeah.
And they don't have anything. People in this age live terrible, hard lives, right? All they have
is their gods. Yeah.
So
I wish they would do a little bit better job.
I really do too.
Interpreting that.
I really do too, because we see in Fire and Blood, we read about the Faith Militant rising up, a couple times. And Maegor has to put them down hard.
Yeah.
And Aegon the Conqueror, he had to form basically a pact with them. Jaehaerys had to make the law of exception.
Yep.
And then you see in modern day Game of Thrones, Cersei essentially, she essentially recreates the Faith Militant, allowing them to like arm themselves and create a military.
Yeah, and she thinks that they answer to her because of this power that she gives them, and then they quickly turn on that and take her over, and they hold all the power again.
100%.
And that kind of resembles like the problem with church and state, and it like being like one thing. Like, that's a problem. Like that shouldn't happen. But we see it happen in Game of Thrones, and in the books we're kind of left with there's no at the end of the 5th book we're kind of just up
like
in the
what
air
happens
of, like,
with the Faith Militant,
what's going on.
And you think about real life, like what happens when the faith gets militarized. Like we know in the First Crusade, the Pope signed off on the First Crusade, and it led to untold amounts of death and destruction across the world. So really bad stuff when that happens.
So after that, she's like, you're right. So she's finally accepting Daemon and his plan of let's go to Templeton and burn everything. But she like kind of puts at the end like the realm is watching, so don't kill everybody.
Yeah, don't make me a monster.
Don't kill the innocents. But then Ormond utilizes that weakness and puts children on the battlements and on the walls, and then throws them out in front of the gates, which was mad. It's so absolutely insane. Mad, but that's what they do, and that's just it shows that like both sides of this war are both cruel or both evil.
Yeah,
and they both should not rule. Now you have people like Helaena and you have people like Darren and Jace that and like maybe Baela or Rhaena that they have kinder hearts, and maybe they should be the ones to actually ascend to this.
And they're also younger though, and you got to think about Rhaenyra when she was their age. We also thought she would be a good ruler,
right. Right.
But like Alicent says at the beginning of this season, you will do things that will make you question yourself.
Yeah.
And we know that the weight of the crown crushes basically everybody.
Yeah, and Alicent also says literally 2 episodes ago that Rhaenyra and Daemon are 2 sides of the same coin. We see that here. We see that come to light in this scene.
100%.
And I was telling you about this when we were watching the episode, that their conversations are only like the only time they feel very attracted to each other is when they're talking about killing or taking over something. And we saw that firsthand when at the Driftmark episode, season 1, episode 7, I think it is. And she asked him, like, we are fire and blood, like we need to join and you need to help me take over these high towers. And like they get married off of that soul instinct. And like anytime we feel like any kind of love or care between them, they're talking about destruction or war or something.
That's a really good point you raised, and I could not agree more. In this first scene where that we see with Rhaenyra and Daemon, they're almost checking each other out. They're looking each other up and down. They're talking to each other slow and high Valyrian. Rhaenyra looks very attracted to him.
She looks very turned on right now.
Yes, she does, dude. And Daemon does too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they look like they're ready to climb all over each other.
Yeah.
And it's kind of disturbing, because they're talking about burning people.
And like me and you were talking like, why does? Because like we literally see in the last episode at the end of it, Mysaria is taking advantage of Rhaenyra in her sorrow state, and Rhaenyra, has always been attracted to Mysaria, so like they hook up at the end of it. But now, in the matter of like a few hours, it seems she's ready to cast Mysaria out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was thinking like, is it because of what just happened with Daemon?
Yeah.
Like, does she feel this newfound, attraction again for her husband, and she wants to cast this, what could be the end of her? Not only is being queen a huge no in this universe, but if it's known that you are sleeping with whores, let alone your mistress of whispers,
you would lose all respect from anybody.
Respect will be lost. And so it makes me think that she takes all of this into account when 100%.
I really like that. And I was kind of thinking on, another point is that she went to her at the last scene of this past episode, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she was basically begging and pleading with Mysaria, am I the chosen one? Did the gods choose me for this?
Yeah.
And Mysaria gives that to her, and then they have sex.
Yeah.
She definitely goes down on Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And I don't think she wants everybody to see or hear about how she's super, really weak in a lot of these moments.
Right.
And she was frankly coming to this whore to, confide in and like tell me that the gods chose me. It's like, who is this woman to tell you that the gods chose you? Especially when she very next episode goes and kills the guy who talks to the gods for them.
Yeah, literally. So it's just very strange that she would cast Mysaria out, but like you're saying, it's this little weakness that lies in her counsel.
And I thought it was really interesting. It's not exactly like she was banished, but she wasn't particularly spurned. I mean, she was offered gold enough to buy a manse in Pentos.
Right, yeah.
And, enough to buy servants. She would have lived a very good life, essentially like royalty just over there.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not what she wants.
Right.
And I'm not sure, I'm not wholly convinced that she's entirely selfish and she just wants power. And I'm not entirely convinced that she wants to help people and she doesn't care about power. I'm really kind of up in the air. I know I don't like her. I
Yeah.
don't like Masari. I think
No.
she's a schemer. She's definitely a schemer, but I think
She's also bad at her job.
she's terrible at her job. Varys would run circles around Massaria.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so would Baelish, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Would absolutely run circles around Massaria.
We've seen her literally do nothing. Like in season 2, was a very much slower season, but we saw Laris do a lot in season 2.
Yeah.
Now, why didn't we get the same with Massaria?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
At the only time we really saw her doing anything with secrets or whatever is when she ordered the guards to take care of that one serving boy.
Right.
Called him a liar and everything.
Yeah, it was very odd.
It's very odd. And no follow up on that. In that same scene, before we left that,
yeah,
she tells Daemon to go and take care of it. Like you said, and he seems so relieved to finally be going to war.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's finally, like I did
He's
say
been
that, like,
begging for this.
He's finally getting what he wants.
Yes.
She finally, after a season of almost like picking between the two and fighting between Daemon and Massaria, she picks Daemon.
Yeah.
So that could be another reason, like I was saying, like she cast her out. It's like she's finally chosen like his point of view, and his perspective. Because she's losing, but she's not losing the battles. She's losing the people. She's losing the respect of the realm.
Yeah.
She needs to gain it, and what better person to do it than Daemon?
Almost kind of Robb Stark-esque in a way, because Robb Stark, he wins basically every battle that he orders, but he loses all the people around him, and he's abandoned by the people around him, and then eventually betrayed.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
Which of course Robb Stark was actually a good person, whereas Rhaenyra is frankly not
a good person.
Yeah.
Especially after this episode.
Yeah. But Robb Stark, he also makes his mistakes.
Oh yeah.
But this next scene we see
with Baela.
Mm-hmm. I loved it. Baela, goes to her and she asks to be sent to Tumbleton. And she's like, no, you and Adam need to stay here and protect the kingdom because you let Sunfire find his way back to Aegon.
Yeah.
And which Baela, respectfully, is the one that told them was dead and decaying.
Yep.
Said he was literally decaying, which he clearly was not. He was burned beyond belief.
Yep. But
he's very much alive. And as we see later, capable of flight to some extent.
Yeah. And we also know that Vhagar is out there still.
Yes.
So like we need all hands on deck still here.
Mm-hmm.
Now Daemon and the Rivermen can go, and like what she thought, like Ulf and Vermithor. Well, Vermithor was supposed to stay, but Ulf and Daemon should be enough to take Tumbleton.
Yeah,
and it was, but on different treachery. Treachery was afoot.
But Baela basically says to her, this is your fault. He wouldn't have gone out if it wasn't for you. And she's basically saying you use people, right, until they're broken. Yeah. Right? My sister's broken like how my grandfather is now, and it's because of you. Mm-hmm. And then Rhaenyra has this part where she says, it's because your sorties that you've flown have resulted in nothing for me.
Yeah, it was like, you, Baela.
Yeah, and she's like, I would be within my rights to confine you here, basically.
Especially, and she throws the gullet back in her face.
Yes.
It's like, you were there too. You've let my son die as well.
Exactly. And Baela says, yeah, but you need my dragon. And Rhaenyra grabs her face.
God, that was awesome.
And the way she just starts slowly speaking to her, and she calls her an insolent child. She says, truly I should not be surprised, because insolent runs in your veins. Which, it's unclear whether she's talking about Daemon
or just the Velaryons in general.
Corlys, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like,
I really liked that scene.
At the same time, Baela, Corlys himself is a man, was Hand of the King. he chose to leave
Exactly.
King's Landing and go on this party. Like, he was not supposed to do this. He himself got caught.
Yeah.
This is his own doing.
100%. And, she says that it's Rhaenyra's fault that he's lost everything. Corlys pushed and pushed and pushed and clawed his way into this position.
Yeah.
Knowing that it would result in this war. He knew that they would crown Aegon.
Yeah.
He had to have known. They did the same thing to his wife.
Yeah.
So it was really unfair, in my opinion, of Baela to put that on Rhaenyra. Although Rhaenyra definitely, bears a lot of that responsibility.
Yeah.
It was certainly not all her fault.
No, definitely not all of her fault. And it's always been Corlys's ambition that gets him in these situations.
Yeah.
And that's what happened here. And whenever he's like rejected, he lashes out or runs away, and that's exactly what happened. This time there was dire like consequences.
Yeah. And the previous time he went to Daemon, and after he was spurned the first time, and he went to Daemon, and basically, they went on their war in the Stepstones.
Yeah.
They ended up crowning Daemon king of the Stepstones.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely wild. And then of course, this time he goes and hunts after the Triarchy pirates.
Yeah.
But
how I keep asking and wondering, how will this relationship, when he comes back to King's Landing, how will this relationship with Rhaenyra work?
Daemon or Corlys?
With Corlys.
Yeah, I really wonder that too, because of course we know what happens in the books, but they are most certainly not following that storyline.
Yes. From that.
Could he potentially end up where he does in the books, like in the show?
Yeah.
Yes, because it would make sense from where they are now, but it's really hard to say. We switch to Tumbleton.
Yes.
And we see the Hightowers are preparing for battle, and it shows us Daeron, Ormond, and Gawain in their chambers.
Yeah.
And Ormond says to Daeron, to be crowned king, you must first be knighted.
Yeah.
And he gives them these vows, right? But in these vows, he says, do you swear to obey your liege lord and your commanders?
Yeah.
That is most certainly not the vows
for being a knight.
And it was that was intentional for sure, because he doesn't care about him protecting the innocent or doing the right thing. He cares about him obeying
him. Yes. And I was very just shocked about this, because Ormond resides in Old Town, the home of not just the Citadel but the Starry Sept as well.
Yeah.
So if it's anyone who should know the vows of being a knight, it is Ormond.
100%. I mean, like you said when we were watching it, he wears it on his armor.
Yeah, and if you look close enough, you can see the gods. There's certain gods on his armor, along with the tower in the middle. So it's just like this whole control thing with Daeron.
Yeah.
And it's very odd to me why he did it this way. And Gawain's just probably back there like, what is he saying right now?
And we see him when he's knighting him, he names him Daeron the Daring.
The
name
finally comes up.
Yes. How daring is Daeron? We haven't really seen that. Of course, we see he tries to mount Tessarion and fly out,
He wants to go.
Surely would have resulted in his death, especially if he came to blows with Silverwing.
Yeah.
Silverwing is far too large.
No, I mean, freaking Tessarion fits in a church.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No chance he should have been part of that at all. Luckily, Gawain was able to catch him and literally said, "You'll have to kill me first."
Yeah.
Which I love. Gawain, once again, such a great character. He's awesome. He kind of gets hoed a little bit.
Kind of gets hoed by Daemon.
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time. I mean, he was literally going to choke him. He was going to strangle him to death.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how good of a fighter Gawain is throughout this series. Which he is. I believe he is.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a good dude. But it shows big time that there are levels.
And then there's levels above Daemon, too.
Yes, like we
John
see
Roxton.
we see him fight John Roxton, and John Roxton puts the work on him.
I love
and I want to say, we're recording this a day after we've watched the episode.
Yeah. We've seen the online talk already.
There's so much discourse online about people saying, "Oh, Damon's a fraud. You know, he got beat by Cole in the tourney, and then got absolutely manhandled by John Roxton." Buddy, that is one. The first one is the best fighter in the realm at the time.
Yeah.
And the second one is also one of the best fighters in the realm, and also wields a Valyrian steel sword, Orphan Maker.
Right. And that's the show hasn't said that, but it is fact. And I still believe that, even though
he wears it over his back.
Yeah, even though they haven't like strictly confirmed that is Orphan Maker, I still believe that is Orphan Maker.
And I feel like, like we were kind of saying last night, it kind of sounded like the swords, when they clashed, were making
a certain
sound, which we know that when Valyrian steel swords clash, they make an insane sound.
Right.
We read that in Fire and Blood. Also, John Roxton is an absolute unit.
Right, he's way bigger than David.
He's way bigger, dude. He's huge.
He is very large.
He looks very menacing in his armor.
He does.
I loved the really kind of just side note, but I loved the blue color on the Roxton banner.
Yes.
Really, like the shields, that light blue is
something about it.
Yeah, it was a really good color.
Yeah. So we pivot from Darren the Daring to Ulf the White, or Ulf the Sot.
It looks like he's in a kitchen of some sort, just talking to a bunch of small folk.
Yeah, he's in. So now we see him in Tumbleton. We see him inside Tumbleton, and he's finally getting his drink. He's getting his ale with the lads.
Yeah,
he's fine. I mean, he's finally,
quite a few of them, it looks like.
Yeah, and they're like, kind of like, look at this guy. He's a dragon rider. Like,
man, he's just kicking it with us.
He's cool. Like, oh my god. But also, what I wanted to point out is he comes up behind one of these women. He kind of like strokes her, like her arm, and gets like up behind her and everything. And we kind of know where that might lead.
Yes.
Especially with the information we have about Ulf in the books. And it made me think about last season when he wasn't doing any of that. But he was in the inns every night. But he partook in none of that side of things.
Yeah.
But it shows you, once you have this power of feeling like a literal god, and you have a dragon, you have the most powerful weapon in the realm, in the world, you can start. I mean, you shouldn't, but it makes it seem to you that like
you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want,
and
there'd be no consequence.
He was one of these people not so long ago, but now he feels like these people are way beneath him. Of course, he's hanging out with them and talking to them because he can't hang out with a bunch of High Lords, because the High Lords would still view Ulf as below them.
Exactly.
But to him, he's like, I can be around these people and I can be better than them. Yeah. They can look at me like I'm some lord. And he actually calls himself Lord Ulf the White.
Yeah. He's finally getting what he wants. He was promised this by Ormond, but he has had. I think it's funny though, because it's like he's been restricted of this ale with the lads for so long. So finally, he go in the final season. He drinks too much of the ale. He gets too much, and he gets completely screwed up.
Yeah,
gets just so drunk, and it cost the Hightowers dearly.
100%. And I liked how in that scene, when he was sauntering around the room, you could already see he was very drunk already.
Yes, he is very done. He is done with this.
But we see in the scene right after.
Yeah, we got Rhaenyra in front of the Lego set.
Yes.
Looking at the crown.
And the serving girl, her handmaid.
Linda.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Comes in, and I call her serving girl. She's not a serving girl. You know, like she's a highborn
She's
lady.
a handmaiden.
Yeah, she's a handmaiden.
Yeah, but she is highborn though.
Yes, and
she's a Massey.
We see them. She's telling Rhaenyra that Helena is still refusing to eat anything, and that they're concerned for her health, especially with the baby in her belly.
Yeah,
and she kind of just, she acknowledges it, but
she's like
she's more concerned with
herself.
Summon Sir Alan, because the High Septon will anoint me today.
Yeah, and it's like she is panicking. She's panicking to like get this anointment before Aegon can get any kind of like hold of power, and before he can gain any more momentum.
Yeah,
she's like, I have to get this right now, and it will happen today, without even speaking to the High Septon. Like, she spoke to him in episode 1 or episode 2, and now just there's been all this time, and they're just gonna show up, and he's gonna all of a sudden change his mind,
right?
Because you're in your crappy armor,
especially after Aegon has risen. And they're saying that they, take this as a sign from the gods.
Yes.
And I always kind of wonder how pious and like how big of a believer these like Septons actually are.
Yeah.
I feel like they're really, because they're powerful people too, and they live good lives.
Oh, they live great
they're
lives.
Very rich.
When we see the High Septon going in brothels and everything in Game of Thrones.
Exactly. And so
they're not like some of them have probably been like very faithful and religious
for sure.
But
that's not just a given with them,
Just like with every position in this universe, and just in real life too. Like, we have
corruption everywhere.
We have corruption everywhere. We have bad leaders. We have bad priests and bad followers. Like, it's just the way of things and the corruption of things. And then, so we finally see Mysaria getting kicked out. We've already talked about this at length, but it's important because when she does get kicked out and she's walking down the steps, she comes across Helena. Helena sees that horse and buggy
that she saw in her dream,
that she saw in the dream
vision,
and she sees like this is her, like, her escape route is right here.
Yes,
her escape route is right here. She can't go anywhere near it. There's no escape from here. And then Mysaria, I wrote this down
because she almost looks hopeful for a second. Her eyes almost light up,
and
right?
She snaps back to reality.
Yeah,
kind of. She might actually like think that she might be in the dream again for a second, and then she snaps back to reality.
And then Mysaria comes on down the stairs, and she looks at her and she says, "You'll never get out of here. Your children are going to be hostages. You'll never be set free."
Yeah.
And it just absolutely shatters everything. And I think it brings this realization in Helena's head that, like, that wasn't showing me my escape from King's Landing. It was showing me my escape from all of this.
All of this. And I think that Mysaria figuratively pushed her over the edge with that right there.
Yeah, I really agree.
Pushed her over the edge. So then we pivot.
We go back to Harrenhal. And this
is some crazy.
Oh my goodness! It's one of the most.
I think our jaws were just completely dropped 100% this whole time.
We looked at each other like 3 different times.
Are they really doing this?
Yes, and it's one of the biggest oh shit moments I've ever had. Like watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
we see Aemon. He's still in his dream.
He's still dreaming.
He's having these nightmares still of Aegon, and he wakes up, right?
Yes.
And he's telling Alice, I'm cursed. I'm a kinslayer, and the gods have cursed me as such.
Yeah.
And if you don't get away from me, you're going to be cursed too.
Yeah.
And
she's like, well, I have one better for you.
Yeah, let me tell you about my curse. And she basically goes into detail about her son that she had with Harren the Black. And she goes into, like, she starts talking about how when Harrenhal was burned down. And I really like how she said that Harrenhal was burned by the Targaryens to end Harren's line,
Yeah.
which I really like because that takes a line directly from the book. When Aegon the Conqueror goes to Harrenhal and talks to Harren the Black, he tells him to surrender, basically.
Yeah.
And he would allow him to rule the Iron Islands. And Harren says to him, stone does not burn.
Yeah.
And Aegon responds and says, when the sun sets, your line shall end.
Your line shall end. Yep.
And oh my gosh.
But then we learned that it did not end. In fact, it eventually did, but it didn't right then that day.
Yeah.
So Alice, being the wife, had a son
who was badly burned,
who was badly injured and burned in this just absolute destruction of Harrenhal. And she talks about she brung in every maester, and it kind of reminded me of Stannis when he's talking about Shireen. Is it Shireen? His daughter.
Yeah.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I had it right. When he's explaining how he cured her grayscale.
Yes.
And he's talking about, I brung in everybody from all over the realm, but also all over the world to cure her. And it worked. But it does not work here for Alice.
Yeah.
And
she even goes as far as to say, she talks about how she brought maesters from all over. But she said she talked to people in the forest.
Yeah.
She made pacts and deals and pleas.
And ancient. She brings up ancient things that she has done. So it's like, what the hell?
So she potentially green men.
Potentially the green men. That's what makes us think, like, did she... And, like, they keep popping up here. Like, we've seen them, like, three
and they
times.
only show up when she is around.
Yes, exactly. So we keep seeing these green men come around, and then she admits that she is actually cursed, too. And then Aemon's like, that's been 100 years past. Like, she's like...
Yeah, and she says it's a long time to be alone.
Yeah, so their loneliness finally connects them in a very real way. And it's... You kind of don't get that sense in Fire and Blood. In Fire and Blood, you sense that Alice has corrupted Aemon in a way.
Yeah.
And kind of has him on a leash. And like, this is mine, little dragon rider nuclear bomb that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make little babies with him. That is not kind of like we got that sense at the beginning of the season and throughout the season. But here, Aemon feels her pain.
Mm-hmm.
She has real pain. She is actually cursed. And they finally embrace each other for real this time.
I love this line from that Alice has. She said, "They could not unmake what Dragonfire made." I really, really, really like that line. And it makes you think, I think that has a lot of hidden meanings to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it even almost made me think of, like, the Iron Throne itself, how Dragonfire forged it. And it took Dragonfire to destroy it,
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Great call.
And how, Quaithe talks about how dragons are fire-made flesh and that fire is magic. I love this whole magical aspect that House of the Dragon is diving into. And we discussed this on a previous pod, but how House of Dragon is diving into the magical aspect of the Targaryens more than anybody else. Because I feel like, as much as the Targaryens talk about how they're closer to gods than men, they don't really talk about this magic that they have, right? Like, they think these dragons are just kind of animals that they control.
Their pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're magical creatures, And we see that when dragons, are alive, we see it in the books especially, there's magic. Like, magic comes back
it
to the realm
throughout the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we see it in this show with the animals, the bugs like bloom coming in too early, the flowers blooming too early.
Yeah.
We see it with in the books, the guy when Daenerys is in one of the free cities, I believe it's Karth, she sees, it's one of the first times she sees Quaithe, and there's this man, he's doing fire tricks. He's doing like magic tricks with
Yeah.
fire. And Quaithe says 6 months ago, the greatest thing he could do was a couple sparks.
Yeah, dude.
But now he's throwing flames around, and it says like it's real magic, but it's because of your dragons.
And like we go to Old Town with Sam, and like this whole like Marwyn is so like senses that this magic is
100%,
been resurrected.
and the glass candles are burning again
as well, and then and like the White Walkers are at large again.
Yep.
Like there is that threat that has been prophesized. It is back now.
And it almost, this is so off track. But it almost kind of makes you think, the White Walkers are magic, right? Just a different kind of magic. They're magic from the old gods, I believe.
Absolutely. I mean, coming from the children of the forest.
But they actually approach before we get the dragons in the books, right? Mm-hmm. What if Daenerys is actually able to bring the dragons forth because the ice magic is coming forward? So now, like the fire magic
has to start back.
Yes, up exactly,
dude. Banger. Give me some. Damn, that is a great theory. Yeah. That is, or construct, or that is amazing.
I like that.
I like that a lot. It's not because everybody thinks that like it's because Dany is back.
Yeah,
and her eggs are hatched, and like that's what breeds all of this magic. Well, what if it is not that? Like you're saying, it is actually because the ice is here. It's always been fire. It's always been. We had the long night, but then we had fire for so long.
Yes.
And now the ice has returned, and the ice wants to take over because it might sense that the fire is finally gone from this realm. Because it's only been 20 years.
Yeah.
Since an actual Targaryen has been on the throne. But it's been longer since the magic has been gone. But who's to say if it's not just the dragons? It's literally
the
just
Targaryens themselves
that breed this magic into the world.
I like that. Dude, we will have to dive into that in another video. We'll have to dedicate a video to that for sure. But yeah, this whole scene with Aemon and Alice is just,
I love it
really
so
deep,
much, dude.
And I thought, early in the season or last season that she might kind of be annoying. Because there was a whole kind of idea with the fans that Daemon's scenes, whenever he was in Harrenhal with Alice, kind of dragged, right? And he was there for a whole season, and it felt so repetitive. But this felt like we finally got some major lore. And this is something that is not in the books.
No.
Right? Like, there's no mention of that in the books whatsoever. And it's major implications for, like, the abilities of potentially the Green Men and whatever else other ancient magics lurk within the Riverlands.
Yeah. And I wonder with Alice, like, did she try to pursue this love and resurrection of dragon eggs with Daemon, but she sensed what his true loyalties lied within him, so she steered him in a different direction.
Yeah.
And she was like, maybe I can get Harrenhal, like a legit, like the legitimacy of it back from Daemon. And she didn't. And then, they get mad at the end of episode 1 of this season, and then he flies away. So, but it also, there is this I told you this during the episode. I was like, there is this tiny bit of me that is like, is she lying?
I think 100% she could be lying.
Yeah.
Now it would be a crazy out of the blue lie to
to bring up Harren the Black and make this sob story up. It is very out there, but
and a lot of people, like, unless they've read Fire and Blood, they have no idea who Harren the Black is.
No.
I will just say, for the fans out there, if you have not read Fire and Blood, please, please, please do, especially this part of the book that goes into Harren the Black and the burning of Harrenhal. It is so good, and it gives you a lot of backstory on Harrenhal. And the portion of Fire and Blood when it gets burned is so phenomenal. It's so cool.
Good. So we get out of Harrenhal and we go back to Rhaenyra and King's Landing. She storms up into Helena's room, trying to understand why isn't she eating. And she's kind of like, I think she's coming in here kind of expecting, like, all right, Helena, we just eat. She's
Yeah.
expecting this conversation to be like this. And Helena throws this, "You're ugly,"
Yes.
back in her face.
And
And she's not expecting this. While
100%.
Rhaenyra is very vulnerable.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. And I like this whole kind of monologue, this short little monologue from Helena, where she's talking about, that there's this bug
Yeah.
that comes out at the beginning of summer, and it looks like a beetle, or like or she says it is a beetle, and it looks like a turtle,
Yeah.
and it's purple and gold and blue and all these different colors, and she said it feeds on the waste of other animals, and then she's like she almost cries, and while she's saying it's beautiful,
Right.
and then um it's really interesting. She says, she asked Rhaenyra if she's ever noticed it, and Rhaenyra says, "I can't say that I have. You'll have to show it to me."
And
once.
she's going to. She's about to later this episode.
Yes.
I bet you when they go down, and later, when her body starts to decay, those bugs will start, eating on Helena.
Very
and so
good
that's
point.
why Helena is talking about this certain beetle right now.
That's a really good point, Hunter. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Because like, how are they going to get her out of the moat? Like, how do they get her out of there?
And I'm very curious to see later at the end when Rhaenyra is at the window, if anybody anywhere saw her up in the window,
and they're like, she threw her from the window,
because that is a rumor in Fire and Blood that Rhaenyra pushed her out, like did it herself or ordered it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that rumor might get started that way.
And I like that a lot. Yeah. I like that a lot. We see right after this, Helena basically says screw off to Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra nods at her guards. The guards grab up Helena and they force feed her what looks like porridge of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But it's frankly a very disturbing scene. Because it's not like they put a tube down her throat and put her to sleep to feed her. They held her mouth open and dumped porridge down her throat. I mean,
I hate it.
I hate it too. It's so disturbing. The way her hands are flailing, and it's very sad, right? Because Helena, like we've said, is one of the few good people in this show.
And she doesn't like to be touched.
No, she doesn't like to be touched.
Like, she does not like to be touched and manhandled and all of that kind of stuff. And so to see Rhaenyra's literal cruel side come out right here, because she talks about Rhaenyra the Chosen. Well, she is becoming Rhaenyra the Cruel,
100%,
literally in this episode. And I think she finally has been teetering the audience this whole episode, or this whole season, of her being bad, or is she just paranoid and she's trying to stay good? And it's like, no. She is like almost fully paranoia bad side
100%.
Right now, especially when she does that to Helena.
And we'll get into one of her other nicknames at the end whenever we see the rest of the tapestry.
Yeah.
But we see Adam warning Alan.
Yes.
Of Rhaenyra. She says, she's her path is leading her down, to a place of darkness.
Yeah.
And he's very cautious of Rhaenyra right now. But we see Alan could not care less about what Adam is saying right now, because Alan has almost been legitimized. He's been given this place of honor.
Yep.
He's the future lord of High Tides.
Yeah, and he tells the Velaryons, he's like, I am your
once and future lord of High Tide.
Yeah. He finally takes up this looming, like heir to Driftmark that's been over him for 2 seasons now, and he's finally accepted it.
100%.
Like, he accepted it because Corlys told him to take his place as Hand of the King while he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's been gone too long. I bet he kind of feels like that Corlys might not make it back.
Yeah.
And he's just fully like, I'm Lord of the Tides.
Adam mentions that to him, and he's like, maybe you hope he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And I wonder
And he
if
says, "I have no ambition, but to do my duty."
yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes you wonder: is any part of Alan kind of hopeful? Maybe that Corliss is out of the picture, and I can be the Lord now, and I can rule.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder. I personally don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
But
so either.
also in that same scene, when she's getting into the litter, we see Rhaenyra in her armor, and she looks very stupid.
I just hate it.
I do
Honestly,
too. I think it looks really dumb.
I keep seeing comparisons from this season and the first season of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and the armor compared to that show, compared to this show. Now this is before Night of the Seven Kingdoms, so if you wanted to be like, well, that's like 90 years, 80 years in the future,
Yeah.
they got better at crafting, type of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, Damon's almost looks exactly like Baelor's and Valar's and
Yeah.
Mycor's. So like it kind of looks like they could up the armor, but I
And
think
like
it's
Kristen Cole's armor looks sick. Gawain's armor looks sick. Ormond's armor looks sick.
yeah.
But
I just think it's more of Rhaenyra trying to look like a king.
yeah. And I think, it's a big kind of shout out to or call back to Aegon in last season when he put on the Valyrian steel suit of armor. He looked ridiculous.
So stupid.
Yeah. It was so bad. But I think that honestly might have been intentional by the showrunners.
Yeah, to show how he is not suited. He is not Aegon the Conqueror.
And he's certainly not some warrior,
No. And neither is Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And they keep trying to push this, like, especially Rhaenyra, onto herself, that she is something that she is not.
Yeah.
And like, yes, you aren't a man. You are not this warrior that goes into battle and everything. And yes, these lords look at you a different way, but embrace who you are. Embrace that you have Cyrax and all of these dragons at your behest. Like, she should embrace her, like, who she is.
Yeah.
Whether it's feminine or not, woman or not, like, she needs to just embrace who she is and rule with what she thinks is right.
And it's like she can't find this mix between being able to like pull the trigger on a decision and also caring for the small folk. Like I genuinely think you can do both.
Yeah.
Like she can be decisive and make sacrifices where sacrifices need to be made without doing needless bloodshed.
Yeah.
And, not caring about Septons getting assaulted.
Yeah.
And, everything
there's no
else.
need for this. But like, I also hate how it feels like. I hate how almost every time we see something like this happen, that like these kings and queens think that just everybody's supposed to agree with them 100% of the time.
Right.
Like this is not how you rule. That's not the way of this job. Like you have to make the decisions yourself at the end of the day. Everybody's not going to agree with you. You just have to do what you think is right. And that none of them get that right.
100%.
None of them get it right. It's just like whoever in the council agrees most is like, all right, then we'll go with that. Probably.
And that's something we saw Viserys do a lot, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He was way too scared to ever make a decision,
without Otto's like blessing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just hate that. So,
God. But we switch back to Tumbleton here.
Yeah.
And we see Gawain and Darren sitting on the battlements, standing on the battlements with each other. And Darren's looking out and he says, how are we going to do this? Right? How are we going to fight all these people?
Yeah.
And Gawain just says, bravely and pointlessly.
Yeah.
And Darren's like, no. Like, I have to take flight. I have to take wing against the enemy.
Yeah.
And he says, no. To what end? To become another body amongst all these other bodies.
Yeah.
And he says, all these men, all these boys are here for me.
Yeah, because we see in this scene, Ormond lines the battlements with children.
Which is a crazy
It's ridiculous.
method.
And I just thought of something real quick that like everyone in power becomes heartless when threatened. Like they will go out of their way to do anything when they're threatened, especially with something like this that they can use to their advantage. So like it doesn't matter what their values are or what their gods are or what the house names are. Like it doesn't, or their house words. It doesn't. All of that goes out the window with some of these families and some of these houses and these men when they're threatened with their lives.
Yeah.
And it just shows you that's the way of anyone when their life is threatened. They'll just cling on to anything and renounce anything. You know, that doesn't go for all people, but for most people, that's exactly how it will go.
100%.
And that's what the Hightowers are doing here. You wouldn't think that this is what the Hightowers would do, but this is what they are doing.
And it's at the same time, right, we see Ormond looking for Ulf, and Ulf cannot be found.
Yeah.
And he's, he starts freaking out. At the same time, we see Daemon fly in on Caraxes. He flies over the city, which I'm sure is.
And in this shot right here is what we were talking about with the I keep thinking Hell's Bells.
Yeah.
When we're thinking of the Bells episode, right there with Ormond in the street and Daemon flies over. It's just like Danny flying over, the people trying to run away. Because in that scene, Danny's like coming around and she gets real low and you see all these people running and you're just thinking like, oh, she's just going to continue to fly. And then she just burns everything. And that's exactly what it made me think of right there. But so Daemon shows up. That, we'll just go ahead and say it, is not in the book.
That's not in the book at all.
Daemon does not show up to Tumbleton at all.
Mm-mm.
So it is very, and this plot right here with Gwaine, I like how he shows up. Yeah. And he's like, what will you do for us? And he's like, I'm not going to do anything for you Hightower.
Yeah, talking about Corlys.
Yeah, talking about Corlys. And Corlys keeps trying to, talk and say this, lordly thing. And Gwaine's like, shut up.
Shut up. He literally calls him the boy king and his loyal squire, talking about Darren and Gwaine.
Like, shut up.
Yeah, he just shut up.
But can we just talk about how stupid this plan was?
What a terrible plan.
I just don't think...
I know he's desperate.
They're very desperate, and I understand they want to do some good. But holy shit, this plan is so bad.
It's absolutely god-awful.
Because even if Daemon accepted this plan...
Rhaenyra wouldn't.
But even if Rhaenyra did as well, Ormond is in there with all of these men that follow him.
Yeah.
I honestly think that it's not going to matter if Darren goes up in there and I'm Darren, the Darren, your king. Take Ormond Hightower to custody. Everyone's going to be like, shut up.
No.
Yeah. And Ormond's going to be like, take Darren into custody. And Gwaine Hightower, the traitors. And that's what's going to happen. And they're going to stay inside of Tumbleton.
Yeah.
Like, this plan that him and Gwaine marked up is so stupid to me. Honestly.
The only way I see it working is if, if Gwaine had, a group of people on the inside and they were simply just able to open the gates for the people immediately, maybe that would work. But I agree, absolutely stupid plan. And then I love how it's flipping between King's Landing and Tumbleton here. When it flips back to King's Landing, we see Mysaria being escorted out.
Yes.
And the crowd gets a little bit rambunctious. And she throws up her hood and hops off the wagon and disappears into King's Landing.
It's like, here we go.
Here we go.
The white worm is out again.
And I feel like
she worms her way out.
Yeah, I feel like we can go ahead and say, the decision to banish her to Pentos, that was not a thing in the books.
No.
In the book, she remained in Rhaenyra's council through this little portion right here.
Yeah.
But I think it will have really big consequences for her later. You brought some up yesterday. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section. But I think it'll have really big consequences. Her being in the city, but not being, with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And how maybe it will change the outcome of Mysaria's story. I'm
very curious to see.
I'm very curious to see.
So it pops over from, we see that Massaria escapes, and then it pops over to Rhaenyra real quick, and
In her
litter going through the streets, she sees the Queen of Bastards again. And so she decides to tell Joffrey the prophecy.
And also, side note, Joffrey is a funny looking little boy, isn't he?
He looks like he could be 6 or he could be 25.
Yeah, literally.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
He does look a bit strange, but she confides in him the prophecy, which it feels like we have also the first words that she has said to this boy since he has been here.
Yeah, and we still have not heard him say a single word.
He still hasn't said a word.
Which also, his actor's very young.
Right, but so we still, this is it's the first words. It's like, hey, Mom, I miss you.
Yeah.
My brothers are dead. Can we talk? I love you.
She's like, also, we got to go kill the Pope. And side note, there's a bunch of like evil wizard eyes monsters
that are going to kill us.
Yeah, and we're the only ones that can stop them. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
moving forward.
But so it feels like we have this sort of sweet scene that's going on.
Yeah.
But then all of that goes to shit when she just tells the masses.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, what are we doing here? And then she speaks, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But it's just very weird how like they kind of butchered that scene. That scene makes, there's no feel for that scene, especially by the time the end of the episode shows up. So then we come back to Tumbleton. Gawain takes Corlys out to Daemon and is saying that we should have Darren rule Old Town and cut off the Reach.
And he was essentially, he was saying, like, we'll rule that part of Westeros. You know, and he talks about how...
Where do you think we get our food? We get it from the Reach.
Come on now.
What are we doing? You think we're just going to cut off the South? No. That is the dumb plan.
And, like, what repercussions does that have for, like, the hierarchy of Westeros, right? Because we know that the Tyrells rule in the South, right? They're the wardens of the South.
Yeah.
And the Hightowers are vassals of the Tyrells.
Yep. Also, where are we gonna get like all of our maesters from? We're just not gonna have maesters anymore if you cut off the South. Like, there's gonna be no maesters for any kingdom anymore, or are we gonna have that one catalyst? Like, there's just nothing that makes sense about this deal.
And like, buddy, you have one dragon who may or may not lay eggs, right? If they agree to this deal, even if Rhaenyra stayed true to it, what's stopping her sons or her grandsons from being like, they don't have dragons over there anymore. It's just Old Town. Let's go take it.
Right.
Like, because I have a bunch of dragons over here in all the other kingdoms.
And also, let's just talk about this real quick. It would solely be the Reach.
Yeah.
Like, it would solely be the Reach. I don't know if it would mean, like, does Lord Baratheon, those like the Stormlands, come under this? Because everybody is also forgetting at this time that Dorne is not a part of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah.
So it is literally this portion of the Reach. That is it. That is it. It doesn't include Storm's End. It is solely the Reach.
Had Jaehaerys not brought them into the fold yet?
No, that doesn't happen till Darren, the Good, comes into play many years later. So it's just a little portion of the realm.
Yeah.
I mean, the Reach is huge, but it's still it's smaller, like in comparison when you compare the rest of the kingdoms. And you're not including the Stormlands and Dorne. Now, if you're talking about literally cut this continent in half, it's different.
What happens with the Westerlands? They're currently loyal to the Greens.
That is
right.
That is true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because the Lannisters are loyal to the Greens. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the plan is complete complete fugazi.
Fugazi. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. It's.
But then Corlys comes in as hand, and it kind of reminds me, his plan kind of reminds me of kind of like what he says in the book and what he proposes, like these marriages and stuff, to Rhaenyra. And he makes a good point with what he says. I like Corliss's plan, but still Daemon is having
It makes
none
sense
of
in
it.
essence, but just when you think about it in like practical use, like it's not gonna work, right?
Yeah, it's still not gonna work. But
But
we see Daemon manhandle Gwen right
absolutely
here. It's
manhandle
so
him.
And Roddy's talking all this shit to
He
Gwen.
wants to kill Gwen so
He just wants
bad.
to kill anybody. He's just
Yes.
ready to fight. He's ready to die. He's the
And
sole MVP of this episode.
100%. He's so good in this episode.
I love what he's doing.
I love like how like the Northerners, they hate the Southerners.
They just hate all of them. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they call them all milk drinkers.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a really really good scene. And we've been talking about how badass Gawain is. Like we love Gawain, you know?
Yeah,
but he gets absolutely manhandled by Daemon.
I wanted to point out something real quick about this scene.
Yeah.
When you see, so Corlys does make a good plan of Darren marrying Rhaena and joining the houses, and let it be that. Like that is a good plan. I still think if you go in there and try to, it's not gonna work right here.
Yeah.
And also, how the hell did Gwen get out of Tumbleton?
Yeah, he just said, "Open the gates real quick while I take Corlys out."
Yeah, they're gonna be like the hand of the king for the enemy. I'm just gonna take him outside real quick.
I guess like Darren was probably at the gates and was like, open the gates or whatever.
Maybe, but next time we see him, he's in the church with Jacaerys. But anyways, what I like right here when Gawain steps up to Daemon, and Daemon, oh god, actually I can't say
what.
I gotta wait for the spoiler zone. Damn, I really wanted to say it.
Yeah.
Remind me.
I will,
and I'll just highlight that real quick. But God, that is.
But we also see in this scene that Gawain had no idea about Aegon, that he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
So we see that messages clearly are not getting inside of Tumbleton.
Hold on.
And what, he's immediately probably thinking, what does this mean for our king that we've raised up, right? Because if Aegon...
We're supposed to be loyal to Aegon.
Exactly. And Aegon and... Corlys even says Aegon and Aemon would be would be mutually, like, against this deal that we're trying to make right now.
Yeah.
So Gawain is immediately thinking, oh my god, like if both of these guys pull up on us, dude, like what are we gonna do about this? Yeah, we're absolutely screwed.
I also am thinking that the message did get in. The message of Aegon being back is in that castle, but because at the beginning of the episode, when the first time we go to Ormond is reading like a raven's message.
Really good point.
And Orwyle and Rhaenyra, when she goes and talks to Daemon, says that he has sent out like word to the great houses that he is back and he is resurrected. So I bet you Ormond read that message and did not say a single word.
It's like, we need to go ahead and knight you.
And that's why he did that.
Yeah.
Because he's like, all right, we need to do this real quick. And then if we win here today with a dragon on our side, we have cause to, take Aegon over if need be.
Oof.
So that is a good point right there.
But Daemon in this scene calls Corlys a traitor and worse, a craven. It's really crazy scene.
They're still throwing shots at each other. I mean, they've thrown shots at each other forever.
Yeah.
But we see it doesn't matter what is being said to Corlys right now. Corlys goes back in there and gets him.
Yeah.
At the end. So it's very...
Right, and what does that mean for their relationship going forward?
Right. Is he going to value Corlys a little bit more and respect him a little bit more?
Hopefully so. And I don't know how Rhaenyra will interact with Corlys going forward, but
so we're preparing for battle and everything. So we shift back to Harrenhal.
Oh my goodness!
The best freaking scene pops up, and we're thinking for a second, we're like, maybe, "Oh my God, is Vhagar back?
Yeah,
finally, we seeing old girl again."
But then I heard the noises that it was making.
Just hear a little bit different,
and it's we know immediately. Oh my goodness, it's Sunfire.
It is Sunfire,
and this long-awaited reunion between Aegon and Aemon is finally happening. So good.
Like, what to think of, like what Aemon's thinking right here. Like, I killed that dragon. I killed this man. I thought this man was like dead already.
Yeah.
But I know I killed this dragon. Yeah, I saw it fall.
Yes.
And die. I was
in a
there.
Ball of flames.
I was there as it died. Like, with Aegon underneath Sunfire. And so he's just like, are you real?
Yeah.
Like, he's thinking that this is another vision. Again, and Aegon comes and slaps the hell out of him and says, "I'm alive.
I'm alive."
And then calls him an imbecile. And I've watched this scene probably over 100 times.
Dude, it's so good, and it's classic Aegon.
Aegon, yes.
Dude, every scene that we're seeing from Aegon makes us be more and more and more like, I'm kind of riding with this guy.
Kind of riding with Aegon. Because we have lost all respect for Rhaenyra with what she's doing, her plans, how she goes about being queen, what she has just done to Helaena.
Yep.
Like, we're done with this. And we're kind of rooting for old boy to get his seat back.
We kind of are. When he was, before the most deplorable, disliked character in all of fiction. Yeah. It just goes to show how good, again, we've said it in multiple podcasts, but how good Tom Glencarney is.
He's such a great actor.
He's such a great actor. And how good these show writers have developed his character.
Mm-hmm.
This script is phenomenal. Just the sequence of events is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah. And Aegon's looking for a fight. Aegon's looking because he's been, like, visually expecting when he sees Aemon again. Aemon's going to be with Vhagar, and he's going to be armed. And he's going to be, like, he's going to fight back like his brother would. And Aemon is, like, not about it anymore. He's gone through this ayahuasca journey at Harrenhal. He is solely devoted to Alis, but also he is ready to take punishment for his crimes and what 100%. He's done, and being almost a kinslayer.
And it pisses Aegon off.
He's like, "What?"
Yes, he literally stands up, walks in his circle going, "No, no, no." Like,
he's like, "What are you doing?
Like,
why are you acting this way?" Yeah.
And he calls him a kinslayer right before that, you know?
Yeah, he does.
But exactly like you're saying, he is resolute. I mean, Aemon is resolute in his, idea of, like, I've done a terrible thing, and it would be justified if you killed me right now.
I just had a good little thought real quick. Both Aemon and Daemon have been called kinslayers in this episode.
High five. I didn't even notice.
I didn't either.
That's so true. Oh, yes. And that scene with John Roxton, Boljon.
He calls him a babe killer.
He calls him a babe killer. And then they go to clash towards and he says, "Heathen."
Yeah,
it was
so
so
awesome,
cool.
Dude.
It was so cool.
But Aemon is ready to take punishment for his crimes and what he has done.
100%.
And then Alis pops up out of nowhere. And I really do think that, because when she pops up, you can hear. Well, we can get into that. But when she pops up, you can hear the bats in the background again. And we already saw her literally use bats on the bounty hunters.
Yes.
That popped up. I think if Aegon showed actual intent to kill Aemon, she was about to hit this man
with all the bats.
Yeah. Just now. I honestly think that. But it kind of starts clicking to Aegon that Aemon is really, like, sorry for what he's done, and he is ready.
100%. And that, you can see the gears turning in Aegon's head.
And
it switches from him getting revenge on Aemon to,
I
you
can
know
get
what?
the throne back.
Yeah, you're like, I'm
with
gonna
your
use
help.
you.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna find your dragon.
Mhm.
We're going to go to Tumbleton, and we're gonna set that
That
boy.
twat. He calls him a twat, Darren.
Darren, and that does he call him a ass heel? What is?
I thought he called him an oaf. Did he call him an oaf?
No, he calls him.
We're about to see.
Yeah, we're about to see. Just such a good scene though.
I just love how they've utilized Aegon this whole season. None of this is in the book. It is so great.
We thought Aegon's like parts were gonna be boring. We thought it was gonna be him marching around the realm. A little crippled loser.
Mm-hmm.
But
right, and like with Larys. And everything.
Who is the worst?
He calls him a shit heel. Orman.
A shit heel. Yeah, shit heel.
It's funny comparing or seeing what happens.
True.
To Orman.
Yes,
and
so true.
How he is like revulsed to when shit is the case.
This is like the first. It's like Aemon hasn't checked his phone in months. Like
he's literally been living under a rock.
Yes, bro. He literally has been.
Yeah,
literally has been tripping on ayahuasca and just kept his phone on airplane.
He's gone full Aaron Rodgers this whole season and just has done nothing but listen to Alice this whole time.
He's like seeing the Hat Man every time he fucking closes his eyes to go to bed.
Yes. So we go back to Tumbleton finally, and we're ready for battle. Daemon is back with the Rivermen.
Yes.
He's back with Oscar. He's back with Roddy and Alice, and Sir Gilbert Glover is mentioned. That is a very important character in the books. They have done nothing
very
with
underutilized,
him. They've done nothing with him, but he is mentioned, so I like the little nod to him. He does die in this episode and in this this part of the book, though. So they just gave him a little nod to where he does die in the book. I thought that was cool. But he's laying out the battle plans and everything, and I like how he's like, all right, you and your wolves are going to go storm the wall. You're going to go open the gate, but don't die. You need to open the gate, and then you can die.
Yeah.
And
he's like, right, gate first, then die.
Gate first, then die. And then we see that later in the episode when they couldn't find the damn gate.
Yes, dude. They're just fighting their way through the streets, and then he sees the Hightower soldiers running by, and they're like, to the main gate. Yeah. And he looks at his guy, and he's like, there's the gate open, lads, and we're still alive. And they literally all go, oh.
They're just so ready to die. They're so barbaric, the Northmen are.
You love it,
They're
dude.
So fun.
And I love that line when they're in the tent at the very beginning, right, before the battle starts.
Mm-hmm.
Daemon is saying, scale the walls and overwhelm them with your northern fighting spirit.
Yeah.
And I love that because the Northmen just get so crapped on. In
everything, especially
the
the current day Ice and Fire.
Yes,
they're so disrespected. We lose in book 3. Yeah. We lose Ned, the honorable knight that you thought, or the honorable lord that you thought would be king. We lose Robb, who you also thought should be king.
You lose Jon in Dance of the Dragons.
We lose Jon in Dance of the Dragons. We lose all of our army. We lose Winterfell in book 2.
All the direwolves.
The direwolves are almost all gone. Bran's beyond the wall. Sansa's captured. Arya's doing whatever, wherever.
Yeah, she's not even Sansa. I mean, she's not even Arya anymore.
Yeah, she's not. She's one of the faceless men at this point.
And I guess Sansa's not Sansa right now. She's Elaine Stone.
Sansa's not Sansa either.
Yeah.
So, and Catelyn is Lady Stoneheart.
And it's just it has gotten very old.
It's very
watching these Northmen just get shit.
Yeah, and then we go to Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and they're nowhere to be found in that because there's no way they're going to all these tourneys that far north, this is like them. So there's always this honorable mention of the Starks throughout Game of Thrones, but we never get the on-screen justice until later in the seasons when that's not actually in the books.
Yeah.
But then in this show we finally get
they're finally getting their flowers.
Their flowers and their respect.
Yes.
And I love to see it.
But we see it goes back to King's Landing.
Yep.
And we see Rhaenyra in the with the High Septon in the Grand Sept.
Grand Sept. Yeah. The Great is it the Great?
The
Sept?
Great Sept.
Yeah, the Great Sept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically she says, "You will anoint me," and he says, "No, I'm not doing that." You know, especially now that Aegon has risen. You know, there could not be a clearer sign from the gods who is meant to rule. Princess calls her princess, and she says, "I am queen."
The absolute disrespect of the High Septon himself is not helping his case here.
No.
Like, you think that he would probably compromise with this dragon queen? There's no sense to compromise here. He is ready to die and honor his lord for what he did to Aegon. But
and you see her say, like, "I am queen." You know, I wear my father's crown and I sit the throne and I have 6 dragons. And he says, "You may have 6 dragons, but I have a 7-faced god."
And I was like, got you there.
Yeah.
I literally said it last night. I was like, "Oh, he got you there."
But she says, you know, "Your gods are nothing compared to mine. Your gods are small compared to my gods."
And then she like is like this devil on Alan's shoulder. Like,
yes, because
you're blood of old Valyria.
Exactly, because he draws the sword and approaches the High Sept, and he says, you know, "If you kill me, you know, you could declare war against the Starry Sept, and you're damn yourself to the deepest of the 7 hells."
Yeah.
And she whispers in his ear, like you said, you know, "You're the blood of old Valyria. You answer to higher gods than his."
Yeah, she takes what Damon said into account earlier, like right there, and she whispers that into. She's being cruel. She's becoming cruel.
100%.
And after this, she's a lost cause. Like, in my eyes, like Rhaenyra is almost a lost cause.
100%. And you see Joffrey, he was looking back while
that happened.
While Alan stabs the High Septon through the chest. So, crazy thing.
And you know what it just reminded me of? Just reminded me of Rhaenyra feeding this into Alan to stab this innocent man, this High Septon. And it makes me think of what Ormond did to Daeron to make him stab that man, that innocent man.
Oh, that's such a good parallel,
it's just coming back to both sides are terrible.
They're both terrible.
And there are these good men and these good women in the midst, and these innocents that are in the midst of this war and this battle.
Does her chainmail, you know, that goes over her head, her chainmail hood almost kind of give you like Joan of Arc type vibes just a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
Who we know what happened to Joan of Arc.
What happened to Joan of Arc?
She was executed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I should have known that. But I put like she also is. So right here, she starts shouting this prophecy and saying that, like, I am the one that should be king. Viserys anointed me. Everybody like, I am the rightful ruler of the 7 kingdoms. And then she puts the freaking the prophecy on them, like,
which to these people, what is this prophecy? We've never heard of it. The North and the Wall, and especially beyond the Wall, is so beyond like our thoughts. Like, we do not think of that. And beyond the Wall, right, is nothing to them. Like, that's the end of the world to them, you know. And so you start talking about this threat that looms in the far north. It's like, okay, so you're destined to rule because
something
of this,
thousands of miles away.
Yeah, that we've never heard of. I mean, it sounds ridiculous.
And then she speaks in High Valyrian,
saying that she was the prince that was promised.
Who was supposed to relay that?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, way to alienate yourself from your people. They're like, okay,
literally,
this is some foreign person that I do not associate with at all. Like, Aegon literally was anointed by the High Septon and took his faith to, like, you know, ensure the love of the small folk.
Yep.
You know. So she's just everything she could do wrong, she is doing wrong here.
Yeah, and it's just such a bad look for Rhaenyra. It's just such a bad look for Rhaenyra, and I just hate what she's doing. It just gives these big like Cersei vibes, like what she's doing here. And Joffrey's sitting here like, what is my mom up to right now?
Yeah.
And I hate it for Rhaenyra.
I do too.
Because it's this person that we loved so much and we rooted for
we
so
wanted
much.
her to succeed so hard, man.
And she is the one that is now corrupted
And
by this damn dream and this damn
to
prophecy.
to draw, the final parallel to the Hightowers like you've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "I must light the way." Oh my goodness. Could you not be more on the nose?
Also, what's going on with her eyes?
Yeah, I know. It looks like a really bad makeup job. Or maybe it was to, like she was woken up in the middle of the night, Maybe she hadn't slept. Maybe she's not sleeping very well at all.
But it wasn't on her face when she went to see Daemon, though.
That's true. That's true. Also, speaking of her being woken up, we actually saw her sleeping in Viserys' old bed.
Yeah, she's sleeping in the king's bed.
Yeah, which we hadn't seen her
do
until now.
So now we come back to Tumbleton. We're actually ready for battle this time.
And we see Daemon giving one of his patented, world-renowned pep talks. And oh my gosh, his speeches are so good. I mean, he's rearing his horse. Like, he's telling them to give no quarter, show no mercy. We see the Winter Wolves under Roddy the Roan start banging their shields.
Yeah,
they're all getting ready.
And he's like, I don't want the best of you. I want the worst of you.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's a bar.
It is.
Like, I really enjoyed that part right there. But so we finally, like you were saying, we see a storming of a castle.
Which we have never seen.
So, like, and I told you, I was like, well, we kind of saw it with Stannis a little bit.
Yeah.
But
and
like,
I guess we almost kind of saw it with, the Battle of Castle Black. When they're assaulting from the south.
A little bit. Yeah, that's just like way different. And then I guess if you wanted to be like, we saw it with Casterly Rock. Yeah. But like
and the Long Night, right? With
but
none of those are really like this, though,
And like the Casterly Rock is nowhere accurate to what it truly is. The Long Night is literally dead people. Like, and then with the Blackwater, it's more of a naval assault, like you were saying.
Yeah.
This is completely different than all of those. This is, actually battle like regular humans on like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's like real war that would take place.
You see the setup, you see them form up, you see them charge the castle, you see the archers shooting them and the catapults. Or rather trebuchets, not catapults, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes. This right here, oh my god, that pissed me off so bad.
Why are they hiding in the little straw stack,
there's like two dragons outside, right?
They're about to burn you guys to death.
You're hiding in straw?
Yeah.
In a haystack straw?
What are we thinking? What happens when somebody shoots an arrow over and it goes right through that? Like, maybe, dude, you would be so much better off just putting them indoors.
I feel like a lot of these soldiers that are all armored up could just literally fall through that.
Yeah, right. It's probably gonna crush one of you.
Yeah, so I just thought that. I was like,
it was a really annoying moment.
It felt, but we hear these like almost Viking-like barbarians and like clanging their shields together and their axes, and Roddy's ready to go, and he's still talking shit. Like, let's see your arrows, and then we get one.
Which you were comparing that to the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Battle of Helm's Deep vibes, very much so. When
in Lord of the Rings,
one of the guys lets his arrow go accidentally and kills one of the Uruk-hai, and the Uruk-hai just like, I guess we're going.
Yeah, and they all start roaring, and it's a very terrifying scene.
Very terrifying scene.
Yeah.
And kind of like this, especially with who's on the battlements right now, on the walls, it's a bunch of children. Like, a bunch of children are about to get slaughtered.
And the thing is like, they're not there to, actually defend the castle. Oh, wow, he really did get his head taken clean off by that rock, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. they're there just to die first, and make their cause unjust.
Yep.
It's really sick. It's really sick. One thing that I loved about this, right, is we
Mhm.
always hear about boiling oil, right? How you dump boiling oil down on people and they're trying to scale your walls. We never actually get to see that.
Yeah.
But
It's
we
always
finally
rocks or something.
Yes, but we finally see them pouring boiling oil on people, which is such a small detail, but it's something that it just shows, how far the showrunners are going to give us, book accurate, portrayals. Maybe not exactly book accurate in the way of this is how the story goes in the books, but of how, like, if this is what was written down, this is how it would have gone.
Yeah,
If
this is
that
how
makes
an
sense.
assault is described.
Yes, in the
Yeah.
world of Ice and Fire.
Yes, and they did stay true to that point,
Mhm.
and I do really appreciate that and like it. So we see Ormond running through the streets, and he's looking for Ulf
Yeah.
because he's like, "All right, Tom, it's time to go.
Yeah,
Like,
we are literally being attacked right now.
where the hell is Ulf?" And Bald John comes up to him, and he's like, "He cannot be found. Like, we don't know where he is." And he's like, "We'll keep looking."
Yeah.
And then we have this messenger come up behind him, and is like, talking about Lord Darren and Gwen and what they've been
Yeah.
up to, and their terms didn't go through. And he's like, "Terms? What are you talking about, terms?"
Yeah.
So now Ormond knows about that, and at the end of the episode, it does look like, okay, Ormond is dead. Do we agree?
Ormond is dead.
Okay. I just, the
1000%.
way
He's
they
dead.
looked at it, I was like, are they gonna do another Aegon thing? But
Dude,
if
that
he
was a
survived
full
that,
blast of fire.
yeah,
No chance he's
okay,
alive.
but it's
No.
just
And I think the blade up the bum would have
killed him.
done for him
Yeah,
100%.
but not only does Ormond know, but which avails to nothing at the end, but Bold John knows about this now.
Mhm.
So we know Gwaine lives. Darren is somewhere. I don't think they just killed him off screen.
They didn't kill him off.
So if they gather again with everybody that survived from this battle with the Greens, what's this going to entail for them?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, you're good. So then we see they keep storming the castle, and Roddy is still waiting to die. He's still waiting to die. He wants to die so bad, and he gets over the wall, and we see this gory, god awful scene with this kid.
Oh, yes. This kid smacks Roddy the Ruin in the leg with a stick, right? Mm-hmm. And Roddy turns around like, who the hell just hit me with a stick? Mm-hmm. And sees it's a little boy with a branch and absolutely takes his head off.
Man.
I mean, it's rough.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you think like, Northern Honor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in all fairness, those boys were there, to fight them, I guess. Like,
yep. No.
But that was very unnecessary, right? I mean, you could have kicked him in the face if anything, like
you could have punched him in the face, or just left him. It was a stick, bro.
Or just let him go. Just turn around and been like, "Don't do that again, or I'll kill you," and then went on about your way.
Yeah, or just looked and saw that it was a child, and you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So we see them flank them around with the cavalry.
Yes.
Because they're trying to get in there and open the main gate. And all this time, like, Daemon is expecting that Ulf is like behind him and ready to go.
Yeah.
And then another messenger like comes up and is like, he's not with his dragon.
we can't find Ulf.
So Daemon's like, oh shit.
Yes, exactly. And I love that parallel, how both of these sides are looking for Ulf.
Yeah.
That's just a great. The showrunners did such a good job of setting this scene as a whole. Really freaking good battle.
Yeah.
We also see them light a trench outside of Tumbleton, and I was telling you, we were both saying that this is big time Long Night vibes right here when they light this trench. I thought it was a brilliant brilliant addition to the battle. But just I feel like they're taking with this battle. Of course, it was this epic conclusion to a great season, but they took inspiration from the best parts of so many different battles.
Yes,
dude. You know,
yes, they literally did. It feels like every Game of Thrones battle we've ever had kind of mushed into one.
Yeah, 100%.
So we see them trying to get a battering ram up here, and Oscar is leading, and we got Black Aly is like that.
She is a badass.
She's
dude.
a certified badass.
Yes, she's like because like Westerosi Knights, they don't ride horses and shoot arrows at the same time.
No,
that's not something they do.
It reminds you of a Dothraki.
Exactly, the Dothraki do that. But Black Aly was doing that with the efficientness. And right after this, we see Hugh show up on Vermithor. Absolutely massive dragon shows up. Is it just me, or do all of these dragons kind of look smaller out in the open than they've had them look in the dragon pit? Like Vermithor kind of looks smaller than I think he should have.
I thought he looked fine.
You really?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I thought he looked okay. But so Daemon has no freaking idea what's going on. Vermithor is supposed to be at the dragon pit. Ulf is supposed to be on his damn dragon right now.
Yeah.
Like, we have no idea what is going on with these damn dragon seeds.
It's kind of interesting how he doesn't suspect at all any treachery afoot.
But he might, but what does he do?
Right.
We have an assault afoot right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to do?
Right here, we see one of the most visually pleasing scenes ever, right? So
God, I love this scene.
Daemon is mounted on Caraxes, and he's making his way towards the walls of Tumbleton. And you see the high towers push all these children out of a side gate to protect the main gate. And they're all terrified, right? They're holding literal sticks and like mini shields.
Yeah, so bad.
And Daemon is yelling, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" And all of them move except for two. And he waits just a second. I don't know what these stupid little boys were doing.
Stupid idiots move. Yeah. It's a damn dragon.
Yeah, like that was so crazy to me. Like, but you almost see them try to run at the end right there.
Yeah, it's like, did they get away or did they get burned?
Yeah, I think they for sure got absolutely engulfed in dragon flame. But Daemon burns this gate, and then you see Caraxes' head burst through this gate.
It's like one of the best shots of Caraxes.
I agree.
Oh my God.
I agree.
And then he gets off of Caraxes before he had Caraxes do that, and he gets on his horse and he's ready to storm the gate.
Which his black horse and his armor looks so sick.
It's so
and
sick.
Then so in classic epic Daemon fashion, he runs through the gate.
Yeah.
And almost as if some divine intervention, he doesn't get immediately pelted by arrows.
Yeah, there's like a million arrows coming at him right now.
But not long after, he runs into a bunch of high tower spears and is dismounted, and he starts slaying left and right.
Yeah, he's absolutely cooking.
Yes, and at the same time, you see another gate be burst open by the Rivermen themselves. And that's when we have this amazing scene of all these high tower soldiers running by Roddy the Roan and his men, and he says, "Well, there goes the main gate, lads, and we're still alive.
We're still alive."
Yeah,
it's just great. And so he tells them, "Go to the gate, get it, help everybody."
He tells them to go get the Boy King.
Go get the Boy King.
And he says, "I want Lord Hightower.
I want Lord Hightower." And then that leads us to Ormond.
Yes,
and they find Ulf
sitting on a privy with his pants down around his ankles. That's such a funny scene. And we see Ormond almost throw up right here. And he does the same thing that Daemon did to Ulf.
Exact same thing.
Except debatably worse, because Ulf's pants are around his ankles.
Yeah.
His butt cheeks are out and he's getting beat.
Yeah.
Right? He might not have even gotten a wipe, bro.
It's way worse.
Way worse.
Yeah.
And
so he goes and go get on your dragon and do as you're told.
The difference between that, these two beatings is that Ormond doesn't even ride a dragon. You know, it's like you think you can do this to me?
You think you can order me around and
Yeah.
tell me what to do?
And beat me?
And this is exactly what flips him. And
100%.
So he's like, all right, I am going to do what you said,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also going to turn around and burn you at the same time.
Yep.
And so we fast forward and we get to Bold John and Damon ready to tumble, which is funny. No pun intended on that.
Yeah.
Literally was not even trying. But they start hacking away at each other, and I love how we got this fight. We don't get that fight nowhere in the book.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see this.
It's a great fight too.
I hate this for this
this little dude that's like watching the dragon. He's like, "Oh, I found you."
Yeah, and he's like, he's there for Damon. And these Hightower men come up and fucking
just cut his throat. Which also, how did he not see the Hightower men walking up with him? I mean,
also though, you tell me there's no one around.
The dragon. That
saw Ulf come out of Tumbleton and was not just a little bit fishy.
Yeah, like come on,
sketched about that.
Yeah.
So we see this scene with Gwaine, and he's trying to save Darren.
Yes, because Darren wants to take Tessarion out there.
We see them trying to. We see Darren trying to try to go help on Tessarion. We know how small Tessarion is. Wouldn't have made a dent with these dragons that are out there. Probably wouldn't have helped that much, but Darren is trying to be this king-like thing that he has been anointed, and now he's this knight. He's trying to help. He wants to help. But Gwaine says, like, I know another, he references Kristen.
Yeah.
And like how that this doesn't, just putting yourself to death and just are already like putting yourself on that path does not help.
Exactly.
And then they hear dragon at the end. And so they run outside and they see the dragon, the piece on the board that was a dragon this whole time.
Yeah.
And they see Silverwing and they have hope again.
And because you see him burning a ton of Rivermen, because this host that the blacks pulled up with was huge. Absolutely massive host. And it kind of hurts your heart a little bit because you saw the Rivermen cheering when they saw Silverwing take flight.
Yeah.
But he obviously
right back around.
Yeah. And you said like his Dracarys sounds so lowborn. Mm-hmm. It does. He says Dracarys,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just very lowborn Dracarys. We've heard all these different Dracarys, and that one's just one of the worst ones I've heard.
Yeah, it really was. But then it goes back to this fight between Daemon and Bold John Roxton, and Bold John Roxton has given way more than Daemon was looking for. Just kind of whoops him. It's a great fight, but he whoops his butt, dude. Yeah. And we see Ormond make his way to the battlements. Yeah. And at the same time, Roddy sees Ormond. Yeah. And we have this fight kind of ensue between Ormond and Roddy. And before that, actually, we have a little quick scene where Bold John tries to take out Daemon's left eye.
More eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Eye shadowing. Yeah.
Very
super big foreshadowing right there. Yeah, and also just another comparison to Aemon, Yeah. But we have a fight between Roddy the Ruin and Ormond Hightower, and this is actually a pretty good fight.
Oh, yeah. I like how he's tracking him down this whole time. Kind of reminds me of when Tormund was tracking down Sir Alistair.
Yeah.
In Game of Thrones, but they have this fight, and Roddy kind of kicks the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Until Ormond pulls out his dagger, stabs him, and then pulls out his sword, and then
cuts his arm off.
But that almost makes Ormond puke.
Yeah, because the blood sprays all over his face, and then he gets the meanest left hook from him, and then shoves a dagger up his ass, dude. Literally.
And I wanted to say something about this real quick.
Please do.
I think it is hilarious. But we see what I wanted to say real quick about Ormond and the dagger is he gets stuck up the ass. And it's kind of funny because he was kind of throwing shade at Gwaine for possibly being gay.
Yeah, 100%. I was actually thinking about that last night as well.
So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. But and then Ulf comes down and kills them both.
Yep.
And Roddy finally gets to die. This is the end of Ormond Hightower.
Yes, and I love they have very different reactions to it.
He tells me that's a proper a north for the North and everything, and I just thought that was great. It's a great way to end both of these characters. I love how Ormond dies in this gruesome, gross way. He's got blood all over him. He dies by dragon fire, while getting a dagger shoved up his ass.
Yeah.
I just thought it was great.
He dies in the best way. It's awesome.
He really does.
The worst way for him, but the best way for us. And so after all of this happens, we see Daeron getting pulled away, and then Daemon and Boljon get separated from each other before
he possibly
dies,
gets killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, Daemon got back to Dark Sister.
That was true.
Before
I was thinking about that.
He had Dark Sister in his hand, so
you don't know really where this battle was going to go. Yeah. It could have gone either way. It feels like.
I believe so.
But we don't know where Daeron so when that's after this, but Daemon wakes up, and we kind of talked about this earlier. He kind of has what Jon was having in the Bells episode, and he's just looking around. He sees the dragon flying overhead and all of the fire and destruction that he never sees on the ground.
Yeah.
He never sees this. I guess you can say in the Stepstones he kind of did, but in the Stepstones he had no kind of remorse or solace for any of these crab feeders.
And then, to add on to that, he goes around and he's seeing all this death and destruction. At the same time, Boljon Roxon finds Ormond dead, and Hugh goes and finds Cat also dead.
So what does that entail for Hugh next season?
Big things.
Oh my God.
So everything just, a whole lot of death and destruction.
Yeah, with a lot of death.
And then after Daemon, such a badass, by the way, fights his way through Tumbleton and gets found by Corlys, who says, Ulf has turned, we're leaving. The city's lost, we're leaving. And that's where we leave off with the Battle of Tumbleton.
And then right at the end, so after Daemon it feels like also Daemon in this feels like he wants to go die a little bit to
almost,
me.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to just give everything he's got right here. It feels like he's done.
Yeah.
Almost with all of this. But Corlys kind of brings him back to reality, like you were saying, and then they leave. But real quick, we see Ulf and Silverwing fly.
Yeah.
Caraxes is on his tail.
Yeah, breathing fire
at him. And then Vermithor comes down behind him. So it's
what's going on with the three of these dragons?
And then we don't get
two of them don't even have riders at the moment.
Exactly. So we is Daemon going to come out and be shout Caraxes again like he did earlier in the episode? And he'll come down? What's Ulf going to keep doing? Is he going to keep burning Tumbleton, or is he going to land and take Tumbleton for himself? Is Hugh going to eventually get on Vermithor? what is going on?
There's so many.
Or is Vermithor going to hurt Caraxes, because we know that Vermithor and Silverwing,
they love each other.
They love each other with because that was Jaehaerys's and Alysanne's.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like that scene, because it made me just go, what?
Yeah.
And then they ended the season shortly after this, because we sadly see this is the end for Helaena.
Yes, this is the end, and we've known it was coming.
We've talked about this in the spoiler section for some time now. And
she finally finishes her tapestry.
She finishes the tapestry, and she is just done.
And you see her just slowly walk towards this open window, and it's very reminiscent of Tommen whenever he throws himself from the window. You see the Sept of Baelor in the background. Of course, it's in two separate states. Did your mic die?
It's back on. It's back on.
But obviously, she throws herself from the window and she dies.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra finds Helaena, and she's found by a servant girl, and she goes and tells Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra goes and sees that she's leapt from the window, and she finds this tapestry, and she sees herself bloodied sitting on the Iron Throne, which we said was very reminiscent of Maegor.
Yeah, who died on the
Iron Throne. And of course, in the books, Rhaenyra is called Maegor with teats.
Yep. So it's just, and then Rhaenyra closes the window, and that's a close on season 3, and it's just.
And then right before she closes the window, you actually see these butterflies fly up and around. Greet Alicent.
Yeah, and she's been talking about this caterpillar and these butterflies all season long, and it's like you said a few episodes ago, when that caterpillar finally goes through its phase and becomes a butterfly, that will be when Helaena finally jumps.
Yes.
And
I really good theory on my part, and I'm sad that I was right.
Yeah, but it does suck.
But that is a close on the season finale of House of Dragon season 3.
What a season!
What a season! It was such a good season.
Do you want to get into the spoiler zone?
We might want to make a separate video on that. What do you think?
You want to?
Your mic's almost dead. Your mic keeps dying.
We can do that.
So yeah, we can make one. We can make one tomorrow if you want, or the next day.
Yeah, we can do that. So we'll have a separate spoiler zone video,
and we'll dive much more into detail than we generally do in a regular spoiler section.
And then we'll also rank the episodes in that video as well. And then we'll have our predictions at the beginning of that episode. So if people wanted to watch the prediction before the spoilers, and we'll have the spoiler section in the spoiler zone video at the end of that.
Yes, absolutely.
But what an episode, man.
And what a season
finale.
I mean, I think it's the best season of House of the Dragon we've gotten so far.
I agree.
Maybe a hot take, but I think it's one of the best seasons of, either Game of Thrones, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, House of the Dragon that we've gotten, Ice and Fire universe in general. I think it's one of the best seasons we've ever gotten for this universe.
I think I might have to agree.
Yeah. And of course, we're gonna have 2 years to sit on it.
Yeah.
So
we'll be making 1,000 videos by then.
Yeah. And we may have a different opinion by then, but as it sits right now, this is one of the best seasons of television I've ever watched. It's genuinely been such a pleasure sitting down and watching this show every single week.
It really has. Thank you to everybody that has watched since episode 4.
Yeah.
So, and we're just going to keep doing this.
Yep.
Every episode next season.
For sure. And, of course, in the meantime, this is certainly not the end for the channel. The channel's not going to slow down at all. We're going to be moving into a ton more theory videos for Game of Thrones.
We have Lanterns coming up next Sunday.
Yes. So there will be another weekly show. We'll be breaking down Lanterns Weekly, of course.
Yeah, and then we'll have a ton of movies still to come out in the rest of this.
We kind of
year.
talked about how we'd like to have a regular show to talk about every single week. Speaking of, there's a Lanterns trailer that came on.
Yeah.
But yeah, a ton more things to come. Thank you guys so much for watching our breakdowns of House of the Dragon Season 3.
Please like, comment, and subscribe as well. So thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.